Well, what is up, my folks? It is I, your boy H-Boy, and today I'm going to be doing a more serious video, if you will, talking about another Boardpad article about how dystopia is boring. It's a trope of science. Some people say it's just a way of science fiction writing outlandish possibilities of a human and not so human realities where fear becomes insatiable life again. It's just fiction, right? Well, wrong. The point still gets subreddit. Talks about bad things. But what I like about Boardpad is they take things from Reddit, but they cut out all the they give you all the good parts and cut out all the not as good parts. But that's what I like about them. Also, the reason why I like watching them on YouTube rather than reading them on Reddit. However, I do have a Reddit account. I do post on Reddit. I do read on Reddit. I like watching on YouTube equally, but I still prefer Reddit. In fact, 2 or 3 of my posts have ended up on Reddit. Once on a clumsy video and once on a MK video, but we'll talk about that later. In the meantime, let's get to it. Let's start with the first one. Mohammed Safa says, I don't mind paying my taxes when the poor can't, but I do mind paying my taxes when the rich won't. That's actually interesting. Okay, let's see what this says. If we are told to consider all the things that are looming over us, global warming, housing, rising wars, famine, blah, 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 we'll get overwhelmed by the blank picture. Maybe our avoidance of burning issues is what caused it to get bad in the first place. Let's touch the tip of the iceberg for dystopia today. It might seem that bad, but you'll realize how bad we let things get. In Iran, if a 12-year-old girl is ard and impregnated by her father, she must carry the baby to term or be thrown in prison for life. Wait, that's Alabama. Yeah, I don't really have a say in that kind of thing, but still pretty bad. Are these all Mohammed Safa? But let's keep scrolling. I might have said some of that. This. Water isn't even a basic human right in the United States. No guaranteed parenting material if you're a third world country with iPhones. Now this is depressing, and this is why I'm glad to be Canadian, because we get rights. Like Americans are all like, I want my public health, and I'm not getting it. Well, guess what, babies? I'm Canadian. I get health care. But then we have terrible public transit, and then we have Trudeau, which is problematic, but we have healthcare, so anyway, let's move to the next one. Did anyone with problems head on? Yeah, that's not important. Texas law may consider the death penalty for babies. So pro-life they'll kill you. So this one's somewhat kind of ironic. I like it's ironic because why would they do that? Well, I do like the benefit is one, it feeds 2 with 1 scones. Both the mother and the baby go by one too. So instead, so we not only do we keep the population of baby, we also get rid of one of them. So that's a good thing because I like depopulation. I like less people. So stop having babies. Stop giving birth. Stop everything. No more. Bye bye. No more. In fact, I'd even have myself if it wasn't for this YouTube channel. Anyway, let's move on. 9-year-old boy pays off entire school lunch debt for saving his allowance. Give this boy back his money and make the school lunch free. This is not a Halloween story. Little kids should not be cleaning up the messes made by selfish adults. It's true, and the fact that it's not, I wouldn't find it heartwarming. Of course, it's nice that he did it, but why didn't they just pay? You get what I'm saying? Again, we do have to pay our lunches in Canadian schools, like I'm in university now, but of course we have to pay. But I meant like. They might give free lunches for the little kids, I hope. I don't know. I did have to pay in cafeterias when I was but a little dude. But I don't know what they were like for the less fortunate. Because I know a few had lunch programs. In fact, when I was in elementary, we actually did this thing where we donated to a lunch program of another school that did have a lunch program. But I don't know how that works. If you know how it works, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. I have 1,000 Mars bars in my fridge and my mate has one in his. I pressured him to giving his to a homeless person. This is how celeb charity appeals work. That's semi-true. Such as, Kylie Jenner, the girl with the lips and the black hair and the cell phone. Well, what she did is, I don't know if it's a true story, but she encouraged people to donate to her because she wasn't the biggest because she wasn't a billionaire yet, and then also something happened to one of her drivers and she has them to pay and she could have paid. That's what I would have done. But I didn't. I didn't donate. I don't even know. Well, I know who she is, but I don't care about her. The only celebs I care about were, I used to care about JoJo. I went to one of JoJo's concerts. But then she got a haircut and now she looks like Draco Malfoy, so no more JoJo for me. I do like JoJo's band though. And then there was Joe Gatto, who I went completely crazy for in the day. But no one talks about Joe Gatto anymore. Now that he's a father, no one cares. He ditched his boys. His boys in the TV show, not his actual son, but that's not important. Let's get back to this. See, okay, coping mechanisms, escapism, blah blah blah. Ignore that. What must we apply? We've learned. What have we learned from COVID? Oil is worthless in a society without consumption. Healthcare has to be public because health is public. 50% just get done by home, while the other 50 deserve more than they're being paid. We live in a society, not in a economy. Well, that's somewhat true. And another thing we've learned from COVID is that the pandemic has turned everybody into narcissists. I don't like that, but that's what I have to say. You hear me? Sorry if I'm getting a little political in this video, but I'm just saying what I have to say. I have words that were in my mind, that are coming out of my mouth, and that are going to you on YouTube. And there's nothing you can do about it. So let's keep going on. If paying a cashier a living wage will make prices go up, why isn't replacing cashiers with self-checkouts make prices go down? Hey, that's actually semi-true. I usually don't know what to say about that. Actually, it's some of the case, like in some grocery stores, especially ones that have rewards cards, but no one really talks about those. If you aren't raising your staff's pay to keep up with inflation, you're cutting their pay. That's just true. And let's keep what they say. I don't know what to say about that one. Folks can make 10 or even hundreds of thousands in rent payment on time, no issues, then be told they can't qualify for a mortgage with a lower monthly payment. The system is predatory and needs to change. I don't know what to say about that one, but couldn't really say much. But if you have something to say, please let me know. I don't have much to say. Okay, let's move to the next one. I don't know how to break it to you, but if the universal background checks and red flag laws create an accountable barrier for you owning crime, then you are the person you're worried about. I'm confused. Like that one, I'm too Canadian to know. I'm not American enough. If for any Americans watching this video, if you understand that tweet, please let me know in the comments. I do not. I am really truly sorry, but I honestly do not. Okay, keep scrolling. We really called minimum wage workers heroes and didn't even raise the actual minimum wage. Yeah, that's true, because you need to know, simply calling someone a hero doesn't make them happy. Like, one thing I hate is getting labeled, especially if I get positive labels in cases that don't help me in any way. Those are really annoying, but other than that, it's really, I don't know what to say. I don't have a job yet. I mean, but I wouldn't call YouTube my job. I'm not one of those YouTubers. I'm a casual YouTuber, but we'll worry about that later. And clapping and banging pots is the new rental currency. That's true. Like, how's banging pot showing you love someone? Like, I'm showing to thank you to someone. Like, let's take this. I got this water bottle. I'm doing this. Ding, 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 ding. Do you feel like I'm thanking you? No, like how exactly are you thanking someone by doing this? Like, look. You're a minimum wage worker. You're not at a wedding. So how on earth does banging pots show that you're thanking someone? I get this showing your awareness, but here's the thing. In my opinion, awareness doesn't mean anything. It's help that people want, not awareness. Thank you. Anyway, let's get back to this. The NRA buys off Congress, no action on guns. The oil industry buys off Congress, no action on climate. Insurance company buys off Congress, no action on healthcare. Pharma buys off Congress, no action on drug prices. Money in politics is the root of our dysfunction. That's true. Too bad I'm not rich enough to buy up something big. Once I ever get rich, I'm probably going to buy the rights to... I don't know what I would buy the rights to. I'd definitely buy the rights to something big, and I'll have the world. Just, it'll be mine, all mine. Okay, let's get back to this. This is really bringing out my angry side, but let's keep going. Overheard. I'm sure these people have lives depending on whether or not a dude with an AR-15 is having a good day or not. Ironically, this might sound like an American problem, but this is not just a school problem, this is also a worldwide problem. Okay, but let's keep going. Pro-life, I think there's a reach as pro-birth. Every child that are happy before being pumed in a school, where's our pro-life outrage? Because I think it's just birth. They only say thoughts and prayers. Now again, I'm Canadian, so this almost never happens. But as I said, there's got a point. Like, when did they say pro-birth? Like, in fact, I'm not pro-life or pro-choice. In fact, I think I'm anti-birth. I'm anti-human. I'm anti-everybody. In fact, I'm anti-society. I'm like, if I could be cut off from the planet, I totally would. But I can't, because then, well, you know why. Anyway, let's forget about that and keep scrolling. What's this have to say? Only the U.S. forces you to give birth while forcing you to pay thousands of dollars to give birth while not letting you have time off to give birth. Okay, that's just hypocritical. That is just hypocritical. I mean, like, when my aunt gave birth to my cousin, she got maternity leave. Because the aunt that gave birth to my cousin was probably the only person in my family, because my cousin, my younger cousin is, like, the first one below me was the first person born after me, even though it's a huge gap. The cousins being the only ones in the family under the age of 10. Everyone else. So it's a big jump, but that's not important. What is important is the hypocrisy. I might as well just pay him. Okay, what does this guy have to say? Oh, Alex Smith. I remember this story. He died. He died because he couldn't afford insulin in America. He made $35 a year as a restaurant manager. He couldn't afford his month of rent out of pocket, and blah blah blah. The richest country in the world, and that's just sad. Don't have much to say on that one though. So let's see what this one has to say. Tens of thousands of Americans are in jail right now for being too poor to pay a simple traffic ticket or municipal fine. Being jailed for weeks will likely cost them their jobs. The crime is simple, being poor. It's not American, actually it's very American. Now here's the thing about being poor. Sometimes it's your choices, especially when it comes to crap like gambling or gaming or wasting your money on useless things. Memberships. But other than that, I wouldn't really waste your money on that. Like, I'm pretty good with my money. I think I've only gambled twice in my life. It was only $10. Actually, I only been to a casino once, but I played like just a few games, so only once technically, and it was only $10. Where I just did $10, did a couple of games, won what I won, lost what I lost, grabbed what I needed to grab, and then I just out of there, never to return again in my life. Not with the money, I tell you. But either way, that time it is your choice, but it's not your choice, such as where you live. It might be like you have a low-paying job, you need to supply for your family, so it depends if it's either your choice or not. But either way, it's still not very nice, so I don't know what to say about that. I just said something about it, so let's move on to the next one. If they super required Pume owners to carry liability insurance, the insurance industry would destroy the... Okay, that's confusing. So this guy says, so let's do it. Okay, what does this guy have to say? The New York is giving the Buffalo Bills $850 million in taxpayer funds for a new stadium, the biggest pro sports subsidiary. And this guy says, 3 days ago, New York announced an $800 million cut to Children and Family Services. The Bills owner is worth $5.8 billion. Why would they just give that money? Like, what's more important, stadium or children? Like, stadiums are just stadiums. At this point, they might as well just use street stadiums, like parks. Like, I'm all for watching a major league sports team play at a street basketball. I'd be all over that. They should do that. What does this guy say? I've come to the conclusion that the sole purpose of homework is conditioned concerning that unpaid overtime and ridiculous hours, and not being paid even to escape work in your own home are normal things to expect in your future. In fact, that actually makes sense. Because, as I said, homework is kind of like that. It's overtime. Basically, homework is just in school overtime. And this guy says, my son found the fridge and my kid put it back in the freezer by mistake and hereby destroyed and the insurance won't replace it. Hey, which is lucky I have because if I didn't, I'd simply die. Which is what happened to one of my students, so trying to get to work. And this guy says, just when the Frederick Banting discoverer of simply sold the paper for $1 because they're so important to be widely available and easily mass produced. Huh. So he only sold it for $1. That's actually smart. Smart that he did that. So in that case, why are they wasting so much money on that? But I don't know if I should be mad at the kid or the government in this one. I'd say they're both at fault. But then again, even if he did go bye-bye, I wouldn't care. One less person. I'm all for that. But let's keep going. Okay, David Atkins, what does he have to say? If you told a person in the 1950s that in 2020 housing would cost over 50% of income, college would take a lifetime to pay, families would barely do anything. Even with mom working, we were locked in endless wars and the government was plagued by crisis, they'd assume we lost the Cold War. Huh. Now what's this one? The Queen, well the Queen's dead and then, that's just sad. I don't know what to say about this one. Okay, so that's on another sub. I think they don't tell you about the push a button for $1 million, but some of you don't know does. There's literally every billionaire is effectively pressing that button as much as they can all the time because that's how exploitation works. Well, here's the thing about me. If that, I would push the button maybe $1 million. I'd only do it 3 times. Someone around the world, someone I don't know. This one explicitly someone I don't know. And everyone I love, I obviously know. So I would just go boom, 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 boom. Less carbon dioxide, more oxygen, and best of all, $5 billion.